Once again, I hope, welcome. I hope everybody is safe. I hope everybody is well. Let's get started in our sessions. All right. So here's our arrangement now. And by the way, I am actually presenting to you off of a slide deck, off of some slides. These slides are downloadable at the site that you came from. So you're welcome to to view these. Print them if you want, share them. That would be great. On the right hand side, obviously you're seeing me at this point. And later I am actually going to be doing some demonstrations on my iPhone. I have my iPhone, and when you see that, that'll be on the right hand side, and you'll just see a little bit of a talking head for me. Um, a couple of other items. So today, our focus is on email, and and we're going to make the assumption that many of you have been using email for some time and are generally pretty comfortable with composing emails, receiving emails, reading emails, doing replies, doing forwards, the basic send and receive actions. And so we're going to assume that many of you are comfortable with those actions. If you're not, I would welcome you to send me an email, and I can guide you to the lessons on the Senior Tech Club website where you could get back to the basics. Right. And so then the question becomes, well, what will you learn today? Well, we're going to focus entirely on email. We're going to focus on the tools that you use to manage your inbox. For instance, you have a search and filtering tool. You have tools where you can flag emails. You can mark email senders as being VIPs. You have a handful of these strategies, and we're just going to walk through some of the options that you have for managing your inbox. All right, just sit back and relax on these topics. You're welcome as we walk through them. You're welcome to explore on your own phones at the same time. A second category of topics that we want to explore is on attachments. And actually, we're going to get beyond attachments a little bit. When you need to send an email and you need to attach a photo or a document, we're also going to show you the links that you can use to attach scanned documents, also attach drawings to your email. One of the opportunities with these functions is they're a little bit hidden. And so the key is, well, let's show you how to get into that path so that you would be able to access those capabilities. And then at the end of our session, I'm going to direct you once again to the body of work at the Senior Tech Club site about emails that you're free to peruse and learn from. And then we'll talk about what our next session is on Thursday. A couple of housekeeping items. As I've been saying for every session that we have done like this, I just encourage you to pretend like we are just folks sitting around the kitchen table. Perhaps we are drinking our coffee and we're just sharing about our devices. So you can actually sit back and just relax. In this particular format, unlike if we were doing training on Zoom or some of the other platforms, I actually cannot see you. So that means every Monday and Thursday you can come to the session dressed however you would like to come dressed. I also cannot hear you. All right. So you can be yelling at the dog. You can be, you can have the TV on in the background. That's all totally fine. All right. Now, just because I can't see you and hear you doesn't mean that I don't want to hear from you. All right. And so down at the bottom of this slide, you notice a couple of things. Number one, on the right hand side of your YouTube window, you can use the live chat window if you have a question that you would like to send me, or if you're having any difficulties, connect with me there. Additionally, you can send me a text message. I will be monitoring these um, text messages during our presentation. And if I get anything that I can address during the session, I will do that. And then finally, anytime, but probably something that I won't get back to until after the session, if you do have any questions about our topics, or really any questions about any topics related to your iPhones and iPads, send me an email. The address would be questions@seniortechclub.com, and I'll get back to you, hopefully with answers. I'll direct you to materials on our site, and we'll explore some of those topics together. All right, our primary topic is about email, and it's interesting. I think it's interesting in that survey data that's available right now, and one that I'm using in particular is a survey of older adults who happen to be using their smartphones. The survey says that nearly everybody is using email, right? 87%. And texting is close behind at 86%. So you take a look at those two, texting and email. Those are really critical tools for communicating with your smartphones. And and when I look at email, again, we're going to assume that most of you have um, are comfortable with the basic concepts of sending and receiving email. But the reality is email is pretty much a necessity these days. You think of it, everybody needs an email address. So if you ever plan to register on a social media platform, or if you register to purchase on Amazon or Target or any retail site, you need an email address in order to do those online registrations. Email is essential for getting confirmations of the transactions that take place in many of those sites. It's becoming key in your security strategy. I get messages from various platforms saying, "Hey, I logged on to this platform. Hopefully, this was you." Um, it's a great way to receive shopping information where your retailers are actively encouraging you to subscribe to their email lists. And that also applies to the Senior Tech Club site. So every week, I am trying to send out 2 emails every week from the Senior Tech Club site with tips and notifications about these online sessions that we're doing. And then finally, email is a great way to do personal communication. It is a necessity these days. What we're going to focus on, however, are topics beyond the basics. And so in our discussion today, we are going to focus on um, tools for managing your inbox, searching, um, and also doing attachments. All right, do a little shift here. All right, and so now the screen that you're looking at is actually the slide deck on the left-hand side. You have my phone. So if I go into my email app, there you see my email app and all of my personal emails. Yeah, I will try and I don't have any secrets. I guess I'm sharing. So let's get into our topics. I wanted to start out in our email focus by looking at those tools that you use to manage your inbox, right? So most of us, I'm sure, recognize our inbox as you launch the email app, and this is our inbox. Your inbox might have a ton of emails like mine does. I don't generally delete my emails, or you might have a well-managed inbox where you have only a few emails right within that inbox. So that's your inbox. And the focus then of our initial discussion is I have a tip on navigation. I have a tip about doing deleting and archiving from your inbox. I want to spend some time looking at the search function in the Mail app. With iOS 13, we now have available a new filtering mechanism on email. So this is fairly new stuff. And then I want to talk about some of the other tools that we have, namely flagging emails for quick retrieval, managing emails from VIP, very important people, and also using folders, perhaps a custom folder on your system. And so those are the navigation tools that we want to explore. Let's get started. All right. First of all, I want to give you a tip, a little navigation tip. Um, I don't know if you noticed that on my inbox on the right-hand side, I have navigated way deep, 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 deep down in, perhaps even hundreds of emails down into my inbox list. I had a person in class one time that asked me, if you are way down deep within a list, is there any way to get to quickly move to the top of that list? Right? Is you look at the screen and there is no obvious way that indicates tap here to go back up to the top. Remember, we're deep down, dozens of emails. Sure, we could start swiping and go back up, but is there a way to get back to the top? This is an interesting tip because I have not found this tip documented from Apple in any of the Apple documentation, whether it's the user manuals or any of the online sites, right? I did find it at some other sources, which brings it to my website, and I've created an online nugget for this. So the question is, how do you move quickly back to the top of your email list? What you're going to do is to tap on the status bar. Now, the status bar, think of the status bar as being where the time is, all right? So once again, you scroll down into your email list, and if you look for the time, all right, on your status bar at the very top, if you tap on that time, if you tap on the status bar, you will flip to immediately to the top of your email list. Pretty handy little function. Now, best of all, this tip works in a lot of places on your iPhone. Let me give you two more examples. I'm going to go back out to my home screen. And this time I am going to go into settings. All right, I'm going to go into the settings app. And you know that when you're in the settings app, you can scroll down and you might be going past, all of the various apps that you have installed, and you get down to the bottom, and the question becomes, how do you get out to the top of your email list? How about tapping on the status bar? And in Zoom, it goes right back up to the top of the list. So it also works in the settings app. Let's also use our messages app where you do your text messages. And once again, I keep my text messages around. And so I am now flipping. I am deep, deep, deep down into my messages list. And once again, I tap on my time, really the status bar. I tap on the status bar and it immediately flips me back to the top of the list. Give that a try. I think you will find that to be a handy tip. And it works not only with mail, it works with message, it works with settings, it'll work with the book app, it'll work with any place where, I shouldn't say any place, but most places where you have a list of items, right? So that's tip number one. How do you quickly move to the top of an inbox? Just tap on the status bar. I'm going to get back to my mail list, right? So here I'm back at my email list. And one of the things, another tip that you can use to help you manage your inbox is to manage with a swipe to the left. All right. And so this is a case where, as you can see on the slide deck, if you swipe to the left, you get some options. You might see more, you might see flag, you might see archive or delete. I'm going to talk about the difference between archive and delete in just a bit. So here's my personal system. And so I'm looking at this this email that came from iHeartRadio this morning that is announcing a new podcast episode for one of the radio personalities that I follow. And so I can simply swipe to the left and notice that I am given three options: more, flag, or archive. If this happens to be one that I simply want to archive, I can just keep swiping to the left. Yours, by the way, when you swipe to the left like that, it might say delete, right? So I'll talk about delete versus archive here in just a second. But here's another one. If I get this Twitter email that notifies me of one of the people I follow, sending out a Twitter announcement, I can do archive by just swiping, or I can take it to here. I can take it to the midway point, and then I can just tap on archive. Right, pretty straightforward. The point here is that you don't have to look at the full email in order to delete it or move it to archive or move it to some other folder. We'll talk more about those in just a bit. Now, interestingly, that type of delete action is also available in other apps. So that delete from a list action can also be used in the Messages app for texting. So in other words, if we swipe here, notice that there is a delete action right in the Messages app too. So this is a fairly common function, right? You can use that swipe action in order to delete. Now let's go back to our email app, and here is our inbox once again. And you remember, you simply just put a finger on one of your emails and pull to the left. All right, you swipe left, and that will give you those actions. When you did that, some people get delete as the action, which is off to the right. Some people get archive. Right. The definition of delete would be real delete, right? So it would remove the email from your inbox by deleting it from your email provider. It is a full delete. You would not expect to be able to recover an email if you have deleted it. The archive option will remove an email from the inbox by moving it to your email archive. In the archive, that email is still available, but it's essentially out of view. Now, it so happens that the choice that you get is redetermined by your email provider. Right? So, as an example, I have an email account from Gmail, from Google Gmail, and there, the swipe left, the default action is archive. Right. On the other hand, I have a great many clients who have their email from other platforms. For instance, they might have email from the Comcast associated with their internet or cable provider. In those cases, the default action is delete. Now, we're not going to get into this today, but if you are interested in exploring or changing that default action, I have written up a nugget. You see it at the bottom of the slide deck, and it's also referenced in the page that you came from, managing email trash versus archive, you have to go into settings. It's actually pretty deep in the settings if you are interested in changing that setting. All right, let's explore some other tools to manage the inbox, right? And these are topics that if you want more information, you can go to the recipe, which is notated with a link on the bottom of the slide. Organize your email inbox with flags, VIP, and folders. And this will give you the full narrative description of these processes. We want to talk about search. We want to talk about the new filter functions. We want to talk about flagged emails, VIP emails, and email folders. Let's jump into it. All right, search and filter. Um, you may have seen the search bar, which is actively on top of your inbox, right? And so if you are looking at your inbox, if you go to the very top of that inbox, you have a search bar, right? And it says search with the typical magnifying glass. That is your search bar. Right? So the search function allows you to search for a group or even specific items. I'll talk more about that in just a bit. Another tool that you have to get to a certain group of emails right in your inbox is the filter function. Now, the filter has really been enhanced with iOS 13, which is the most recent version of the software that runs your phone. If you look on the slide deck, and if you look on your phone, on the lower left-hand side of your phone, there is a filter icon. So you tap on filter, and it then brings up a filtered label at the bottom of your screen. We're going to talk about getting into that in just a bit, right? So let's first of all talk about searching, right? So searching comes to you by that search bar at the top of the page. There's really two ways you can use it. So that if you tap on the search bar, so you tap on search, and one of the first things that appears is a set of suggested searches that say, well, I want to search for unread messages. Those are the messages with the little blue circles, right? If you look at your inbox, any message that you haven't or any email that you haven't read has a little blue circle on the left-hand side of it. You can search for flag messages, you can search for emails from VIPs, or you can search for messages with attachments. Um, and so as an example, if I want to search for flag messages, I can just tap on flag messages, and these are the messages that I have flagged as being important. I'll show you how to do that in just a second. All right. So the point is that one strategy, this is number one on the slide deck, one strategy is that you can use the suggested searches in order to get to groups of your email. I'm going to do a cancel out of here, and then I am going to do a tap on search. And the other way that you can use the search bar is to type in words or people's names or other information. So, so as an example, here over the past few weeks, I have been doing a fair number of Zoom meetings, right? And so, if I want to search for all of the email messages that have the word Zoom or any combination of Zoom, all right, I can actually type Zoom into the text box and search for it. All right, pretty straightforward. And it is amazing. Sometimes I'll be, I will receive an email and then I put it away knowing that I will want to follow up with that at some later point. Well, if I know a topic or if I know a word that was in that email, I can actually put that word or topic in the email address to be able to search for it. So use that search function. It's actually very handy. All right, let's get into our discussion of filtering messages. All right, so filtering, as I mentioned before, is actually relatively new. All right, so I'm going to get out of search, and my uh, filter icon is at the lower left-hand corner of my inbox screen. And so I tap on filter, right? And that's point number one that I make in the slide deck. And then I get a filtered by message in at the bottom of the screen. Right, right now, my filtered by message reads unread to me, right? But if I want to change that, I can tap on unread to me, and I can now choose from a fairly significant list of um, selections, of filtering selections, right? So as an example, I happen to have multiple email addresses. I have my personal email address um, as an inbox. I also have Don at seniortechclub.com. I also have seniortechclub at gmail.com. These are all separate emails from different providers. I could choose one of them. I could choose unread. I could choose flag. All right, I'm going to choose flagged here for this purpose. And that will allow me to indicate that I want to flag my messages. You know, I want to receive all of the flag messages in my list. The point here is that can you can use this filtering strategy in order to pick out certain groups of emails. All right, so here's one that's handy. Since I have a lot of emails in my inbox, I want to look at only those emails that I've received today, only mail sent today. And I can tip on done. And so then that would filter my inbox to only include those items. Right. So the point here is if you have a lot of emails and you'd like to filter it down to a set of emails or a set of functions, consider using that filtering command. How do you turn off the filter? You just tap it again, and that brings everything back. All right. So that's filtering in your email app, your mail app. Okay. And so on this particular screen, I just give you a number of selections that you choose, and then you turn that off by choosing the filtering icon. All right. If you have any questions in the process, don't hesitate to send me a chat. All right. And or send me a text message as a follow up. I'm checking to see if I've gotten anything so far. So far, so good. Don't hesitate to, if you have any challenge with that, send me, communicate back to me. Okay, next. I want to talk about flagged emails. So when you tapped on the search box, one of the selections that you have were flagged messages. If I tap on flagged messages, now you're looking at the flagged messages in my e-box. And I have a few, right? Flagged emails or flagged messages or emails that you flag as being important. You are basically saying, this is an email that I would like to get back to later, right? It might be something that you want to reference or something that you need to deal with at some later point. Right? Examples. You might have emails that confirm transactions, right? You might, for instance, here at the top of my list is an email that confirms my order of Minnesota Twins tickets. Obviously, this is not this year, right? It's from a year ago. But the point is, I felt that that was important. So I wanted to make sure I had it because there was a link that would allow me to get to my tickets within that email. I probably can remove it now if I so desire. I'll show you how to do that in a second. Um, Anytime that you get important items like transactions and invoices and boarding passes, and you know that sometime in the very near future you're going to want to go back to that email again, consider flagging it. All right, so the question is, how do you flag? First of all, um, easy to do a flag by swiping to the left like we had done earlier. And if you do that swipe about halfway, flag happens to be one of your options. And so if you tap on flag, that is one strategy to flagging that email. And you notice I've given you that on the PowerPoint. So you're going to swipe to the left, you're going to do a partial on it, and that will bring up the flag action. All right. Now let's just confirm. If we do, if we tap on the search box and we choose flag messages, once again, there is that eBay message. Now, let's assume that that flagging was a mistake. And so what we'd like to do is we'd like to unflag it. Once again, if you do a swipe to the left on it, you notice that the halfway command now becomes unflag. All right. And so now you can choose unflag and it will remove it from the list. Let's just confirm. And sure enough, the email from eBay is no longer on my list. All right. Another flagging strategy is you can also flag an email from inside of your email message. So as an example, I'm going to go back out to my email list and I am going to do a quick search on one of the Senior Tech Club emails. Oh, there it is. Right. This is an email that I sent out yesterday reminding people about the topics this week. All right. So this is that email. All right. Indulge me a second here. Let's imagine that I had received this email and I said, I want to be able to get back to that so I can find the link so that I can attend these sessions. How can I flag this, right, to make it easier to retrieve? Well, while you're in here, you can tap on I always think of it as the reply icon, which is on the lower right. Um, yes, I refer to it as the reply icon, but you're going to discover, particularly with iOS 13, this has been enhanced significantly, and you will notice that flag is one of the options, right? And not only can you flag the email, but you can actually pick your color. So if we wanted this one to be flagged with a red flag, you can actually pick out a red flag. All right. And so we put that away and that email is now marked with a red flag. You can see that red flag up on the top of the email. All right. But let's also go out to the inbox and let's go to the search bar and let's tap on flagged messages. And we are expecting that the Senior Tech Club email is going to be at the top of the list. All right. So flagging an email can be done either by swiping on the inbox or going directly to the email and using the reply function. Okay. Next topic. I'm going to go back to my inbox and I'm going to clear my search. I'm going to tap on search box again. And I want you to note that one of your options in the search function is to look at messages from VIPs, right? So these are presumably very important people. Your email app will create a VIP mailbox where you identify the people that are VIPs, and those email messages will automatically go to the VIP mailbox. So, as an example, you might, if you have a job, you might occasionally receive emails from your boss. You might designate or identify your boss as a VIP, and those emails from your boss would go to your VIP mailbox. All right. In my particular case, the VIPs that I have are members of my family, so that if I have family members that send me an email, I have identified family members as you have VIPs, and those emails automatically go to that box, right? So how do you create your VIPs? All right, here's how you do it. Here's how you do it. On your inbox list, right, on that inbox list. You're going to tap on mailboxes on the upper left. I've given you the guide for doing this here. By the way, you also find this on the online materials. I tap on mailboxes. And now um, I tap, I look for the VIP mailbox. And in my case, it is right here, right? If I just tap on that item, it'll go to the VIP mailbox. What I want to do is I want to type or tap on the info button, the circle I always label this as the circle I. So if you tap on the circle I, you are now looking at my VIPs. And notice that one of the commands is to add VIP. So you can tap add VIP, and guess what? It takes you into your contact list where you could identify a contact in your contact list who is another VIP. All right, so now the beauty of this is that when emails come in from those VIPs, those emails will automatically go to the VIP mailbox. So we can just confirm that. If I tap on the VIP mailbox, these are all of the emails from family members. Very handy. Use it for family members. Use it for your employer if that's appropriate. Use it for if you have important people, business relationships as an example, you can use it to quickly access those emails. All right, next thing we want to talk about organizing your inbox with folders, or actually the iPhone app sometimes refers to it as custom mailboxes. All right, so what we are looking at doing is creating custom folders, two-step process, and then we want to show you how you can move emails to those custom folders. So, as an example, if you were a entrepreneur and you had a business, right, not unlike my senior tech club, if I get important emails related to my business, I can create a custom folder and move emails into that custom folder so that in addition to being in my regular inbox list, it will also be occupying that custom folder location. Right? Think of it, pretty handy. Or if I get financial, emails that confirm financial transactions like invoices, I have a custom folder for invoices so that if I get invoices, I throw them into my custom folder. Now I have them together so that when I come around to tax time, you know, we have until what, July 15th? If we come around to tax time, we can then use that email list in order to quickly retrieve the invoices. All right, so how do you create a custom folder? All right, so I've given you the steps here. We'll walk through on this. I am going to go back out to here's my inbox list. Right? And so to create a custom folder or custom mailbox, you're going to tap on mailboxes up on the upper left. You have an edit command on the upper right. Down at the very bottom lower right hand corner, you have a new mailbox function. And at this point, you can give this mailbox a name. I'm going to call it tax info. And now you identify what is the location of this mailbox. And presumably you're going to associate it with one of your mail providers, right? So for instance, I can put it down on Senior Tech Club and I can put it under the Gmail for Don at seniortechclub.com. So now that is creating a custom in folder or custom mailbox. And then I tap on save in order to put that away. All right, so that's how you create a custom folder. So now your opportunity is, sorry, How do you how do you move an email to that custom folder or mailbox? I'm going to give you two strategies for doing this. Right. Number one, I am going to go back to my inbox list, right? And I want to go back to that swipe left strategy. And so if I do a swipe left on any one of these, right? I had, and if I do it partially, sorry, I'm not linking, there we go, all right. If I do it partially, I can choose more, right? And after choosing more, I now have a bunch of options. This is new. This is what was new for iOS 13. In that if I scroll down, one of my move options is to move the message, right? So I can tap move message and it now wants to know, where do I want to move it? I can actually move it to one of my custom email folders, and at that particular point, the email goes to that at that storage location, right? That's one way to do that move action. There is a second way, and that is if you are in an email itself. So I'm going to go back out to my email list, and I am going to go to an email. Right? And once again, like we had done before, I'm going to ask you to take a look at that reply icon, which is down on the lower right. And so if you tap on reply, you have not only reply and forward and reply all, right? But you also have a move message. You have a trash message, you have a move to junk, you have a mute, notify, but the one that would move it into a custom folder is going to be move message. So you tap on move message, and then once again, it will take you to a place where you can move it to another, um, to the mailbox that you have created. Okay, so what we just covered, and we'll go back a step here. So what we just covered is that if you want to organize your inbox with custom folders, it's a two-step process. Step number one, you have to create the custom folder. And then step number two is you have a couple of actions for moving an email to that custom folder. Okay, terrific. Now we have one more quick topic we want to explore, and we have run out of time, and this one was going to be quick anyway. All right, and that is um, if you are composing an email, right? So I am going to go back out to my inbox, and when I compose this email, I'm going to put some text in the email, but then I also want to put an attachment on the email. That attachment could be a photo, it could be a document, it could be something that you scan or take a picture of with your phone, or it could be a drawing that you attach. All right, so you're in the email app, and on the lower right-hand corner of the email app, we're going to tap on the compose. All right, so this is what you normally do to compose an email. And, and this is a blank email screen where you would normally put in a recipient in under to, right? You put in a subject, right? And then you put in a message, right, of some kind. Now, in addition to typing that message, or by the way, don't forget you have the dictate option. We talk about dictate, all right, in some of our other sessions. But you want to put an attachment. This one's a little bit hidden because you look at the screen here, and there is no indication on this screen that says tap here to attach. What you have to do is do a double tap on the message part, and now you are presented with a screen. I'm actually, oh, this is the screen that you're presented with. I'm a little bit out of order on my slide there. You are presented with a screen that says select for selecting text or select all or quote, that is to do indentation. Once again, there is no indication here that there is an attach function here. But I want you to notice that there is an arrow pointing to the right-hand side. And so if you tap on that arrow pointing to the right-hand side, you now get additional items so that you can do an insert photo or video, right? So you can actually reach into your photo library to attach a photo, or you can add a document. A document would go into the Files app, and you might have documents either residing on your phone or up in iCloud that you can use. But I also want you to notice that you can actually scroll or tap that arrow and you have more options. And I show you these more options on the slide deck, where another option is to scan a document. And scanning is part of the scanning function, where you can then take a document and take a picture of it and adjust the corners just to scan it. Or another option is to insert a drawing in your email. Let's demonstrate that one just really quickly. I'm going to tap Insert Drawing, and it now brings you into essentially like the notes function of your iPad, where I have pens down at the bottom and I can actually draw. All right, I'm just going to do a little tic-tac-toe example here. And that is a drawing. Hopefully your drawing might be some kind of sophisticated program for, developing a new vaccine for the coronavirus, as an example. I tap on Done, and I can now tap on Insert Drawing, and now that drawing has been attached to my email. Right. The key trick with that attach function on the emails is that on the email screen, there is nothing obvious on the screen that says tap here in order to do attachment. What you do is you do a double tap, and then even with that process, the you have to, tap on the right arrow in order to go to the right side in order to get to the options. Some of that is detailed on the slide deck, and you can certainly see that in the body of work that I have done on the email side. Okay, that's it. What we did was we took the assumption that you are comfortable doing sending and receiving of your emails, and we wanted to give you just a snapshot of some of the tools that you can use to organize and manage your inbox. And I also wanted to show you how you can add attachments, the double tap on the message. Again, uh, we go through this. Even though I can't see you, I can't hear you, I am very interested in your comments. I'm very interested in your questions. After the session closes, you can send the questions to questions@seniortechclub.com, and I'll get back to you. You can get more information by going to the Senior Tech Club site, and the page where you got the link for this email, you can use that in order to go to the body of work right on emails. And finally, the very last thing, we're doing our sessions on Mondays and Thursdays. I've got a typo on this slide. This is Thursday, April 23rd at 10 a.m. Central Time. And I'm excited because we've been focusing our first 4 sessions on the communication tools of the iPhone, texting and using conference calls, using the FaceTime app, and now using the email app. Um, Starting on Thursday, we're going to get into more of the learning tools or tools to support your learning. I'm a huge fan of the Libby app. And if you have a library card to your local library, the Libby app, assuming that your local library supports it, will allow you to borrow ebooks from your local library. It's great. Right, is a great little tool. If you want to keep track of what we're doing in terms of our sessions, there's a link at the bottom of this slide deck. You can go to links.seniortechclub.com/live. And on that page, and in fact, let me show it to you. On that page, you can, I'm going to go to links, and let me close the screen here really briefly. There we go. And I'm going to go to my browser, links.seniortechclub.com/live. Oops, that was live 4, didn't mean that. Sorry. Links, there it is. And if you go to this particular page, I'm having difficulty getting to that page. The name is very similar to other pages. There it is. All right. On this page, right? This is the page where you can see upcoming topics, right? And in addition to that, let me get off to the side here a little bit. In addition to that, you can actually view the topics of the previous sessions, right? And so if you didn't get a chance to see our session on doing texting, click on that link and you can actually view the video and still access all of the related information. Okay, we're done for the day. I went overtime. Thank you for indulging me for a few minutes extra. Uh, Thanks for coming today. I want everybody to stay safe. Please stay at home. Keep washing your hands, and we will see you online the next time. Thank you.